Welcome, brave souls, to another episode of Whispers in the Dark. I'm your host, Eddie, and tonight we'll be peeking from under the covers into the mysterious and terrifying world of sleep paralysis. I've collected some of the most chilling and bizarre sleep paralysis stories to share with you. Accounts that will make your skin crawl and leave you questioning the line between reality and the supernatural. And tonight I'll be sharing my own personal encounter with what some consider sleep paralysis. At the end of the video, it was an experience that has me questioning what really happened to this very day. So grab your blanket, dim the lights, and prepare to journey with me into the shadowy realm of nightmares that refuse to stay confined to your sleep. Lights out. Adam, a student, experienced the eerie grip of sleep paralysis one night. As he drifted off to sleep, the book he'd been reading fell to his chest, and the faint hum of the television echoed from the living room below. When he regained consciousness, it seemed as though everything in his room remained the same. The bedside lamp cast a warm glow about the room, but a sudden chill took over the air, making him shiver. As the cold crept in, an unsettling sensation came over Adam. He felt as if unseen eyes were watching him intently. Panic set in when he discovered he was unable to move. His limbs felt like they were lead, heavy and unresponsive. Now in this state of heightened panic, he heard the familiar sound of the lamp click. The lamp was somehow turned off, like someone turned it off, plunging the room into darkness. Trapped in his own body, Adam's heart raced, his breaths coming in shallow gasps. Then, from the shadows, a ghastly figure emerged, an old man without eyes, with dark, hollow sockets oozing blood. The apparition's rage was palpable as it screamed and lunged at Adam's legs, its icy touch searing his skin. The horrifying ordeal seemed to last an eternity, but as suddenly as it began, it was over. When Adam finally woke up, he was drenched in sweat and gasping for air. The grinning gremlin. Imagine waking up to the sinister grin of a small green creature, frozen in fear as it haunts you every night. This is the chilling experience of a Reddit user who claims to suffer from sleep paralysis that's accompanied by a terrifying encounter with this nightmarish gremlin. Described as a pointy-featured, brownish-green creature, it bears an uncanny resemblance to the unsettling figure depicted in Johann Henrik Fuseli's famous painting. The gremlin seems to haunt the poor Redditor, perching itself on her chest as it whispers unintelligible words, its presence heavy and suffocating. But the creature doesn't always remain in one place. On one particularly horrifying night, the woman awoke to find it crouching on the ceiling, its head swiveling to lock eyes with her as it flashed an eerie grin. In another petrifying encounter, the gremlin lurked behind her on the bed, its hushed whispers echoing in her ear until she jolted awake, the sensation of its cold, slimy tongue still lingering. Although she understands that these experiences are products of her mind, the terror she feels is all too real. While she might find some solace in the fact that it's just sleep paralysis, she's still horrified by the idea of the grinning gremlin's sinister presence, lingering in the shadows of her room, waiting for her to sleep. The Vengeful Specter. Sleep paralysis can be triggered by various factors, and in one harrowing case, a 35-year-old man's battle with alcoholism led to the onset of nightmarish episodes that would shake him to his core. As he struggled to overcome his addiction, he began to experience sleep paralysis almost every night, haunted by the same chilling apparition. Each episode would begin with him awakening in the dead of night, his body locked in place, unable to move a single muscle. As the darkness closed in around him, he would become aware of a woman standing by his bedside. It was the same woman each time, her presence growing increasingly violent and menacing. The man could do nothing as she leapt onto him, wrapped her hands around his throat, and began choking him while she vowed to end his life. These terrifying encounters could last up to 5 agonizing minutes, and after each episode he was unable to sleep, leaving him to grapple with the lingering terror. The relentless attacks eventually took their toll, and the man, once on the road to recovery, turned back to alcohol as a means of coping with the crippling anxiety that plagued him every time he closed his eyes. A haunting question. There's something inherently unsettling about the idea of a twisted, malevolent child, with lifeless eyes and a penchant for terror. This account, shared on Reddit, captures the essence of our deepest fears about such paranormal offspring. The author recounts their frequent experiences with sleep paralysis, sometimes several times a week. However, one particular incident left them terrified. As they laid in bed, eyes closed, the innocent-sounding voice of a young boy asked, "Can you see me?" Accustomed to sleep paralysis, the author found themselves unable to move, except for their eyes. Upon opening them, they were met with the sight of a small boy standing at the foot of the bed, staring at them intensely. The boy repeated his question, prompting the author to close their eyes, desperately trying to wake themselves up. Even though they were aware this was all just some terrible awake nightmare, the vividness of the hallucination was unnerving. With each repetition of the question, the boy's voice grew deeper and more sinister. As the chilling words echoed, the author felt a sudden brush against their shoulder, prompting them to open their eyes once more. Now, just inches from their face, the boy stared at them, his voice now a deep, guttural growl as he screamed, "Can you see me?" It was at this point the author finally woke up, their heart racing and their entire being shaken by the disturbing encounter. They're still haunted by the memory of the sinister child and his unnerving question. Well, my fellow thrill seekers, we've reached the end of our spine-chilling journey into the realm of sleep paralysis, is what I would normally say right now. But we have one more story tonight. Mine. Now, before I officially start, I want to tell you all that I think I did not suffer a sleep paralysis episode. I think a demon was trying to mess around with me. I know a lot of people say that about sleep paralysis, but there are a few extraordinary external circumstances in my case. Brief side note, because I'm on YouTube, I'm going to use euphemisms to explain some of the worst parts of this story. I'm saying that here because I hate it. I wish I could say the hard, horrible words that accurately represent what happened. But I can't, so it's going to be done this way. I was 16 years old. I'd stopped going to church when I was about 12, but still read my Bible regularly. And my father is a pastor. One evening, my mother was talking to me about a family friend that had one of the worst experiences I can imagine. She was watching a show on TV about incubus demons. Those are demons that will force themselves on you intimately. And said something to the effect of, "Oh God, I don't know what I would do if that happened to me." And that night, she was attacked by an incubus. When I heard about what happened, I told my mom that the woman should not have said that out loud. Demons can hear, and when she was attacked, she should have prayed out loud. Demons don't like prayer. It would have left. And that was the end of that conversation. A few nights later, while I was asleep, I felt this incredible pressure on my chest. It was so heavy. I thought my friend Mike was messing around with me. He would spend the night just about every weekend, so I guess my mind assumed it was the weekend and he was playing some kind of joke. But it wasn't the weekend, and Mike wasn't there, and there was nothing funny about what was happening. I swung my arms out in front of me in an attempt to hit Mike, who wasn't even over at my house. When my arms hit nothing, I was a little weirded out. I opened my eyes and saw nothing, but I could still feel the pressure. It was like I was being pinned. I remembered the conversation I had with my mom, and I got a little angry. Did some idiot demon hear our conversation and want to try to mess with me? I was about to pray out loud when something pressed against the underside of my chin, forcing me to tilt my head back and not letting me open my mouth because of the pressure on my jaw. All the while, the pressure on my chest still exists. I was afraid. Let's be honest, I was more than afraid. I was afraid, I was confused, I was simultaneously tired and pumped on adrenaline now. I didn't know what to do, but I remembered I could sign. My father bought me a book on American Sign Language. I couldn't sign a lot, I was a teen. I learned to say dumb things like, "I will consume your soul," a few insults, and the phrase, "I am brave." I intentionally taught myself how to express bravery, but not fear. So, in American Sign Language, I can only express confidence. I started signing, "I am brave." If you look up the sign for brave, it's a pretty big gesture. You place your hands, palm facing your body in front of your chest. Then, in an authoritative motion, you pull your hands out and a little down while balling them into fist. I signed, "I am brave," over and over while praying in my mind until the pressure stopped. Then I immediately got up, grabbed my Bible with Jesus' words in red, and started reading out loud. The red words. The next day I called my father and told him what happened. He told me Pentecostal women say sleeping on your side helps prevent that. The really crazy thing is, I am a side sleeper. How did I end up on my back at all? Anyways, I was told that was sleep paralysis. Personally, I don't know. I could move my arms, my legs didn't feel paralyzed, but many people I tell me that, oh, well, that happens sometimes with sleep paralysis too. For me, it all feels too conveniently timed. But you personally are welcome to believe whatever you like. Now, welcome back for real this time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Whispers in the Dark. I'm your host, Eddie, and it's been a pleasure to be your guide through these eerie and unforgettable encounters. If you have thoughts you want to share about these, or experiences you want to share, feel free to put them in the comments. I read every comment. And remember, you are special. Until we meet again in the darkness, stay curious, stay vigilant, and most importantly, I hope you sleep tight. But remember, on this show, sweet dreams are not guaranteed. Good night.